Ooh, what's up and welcome into this post-game pod of the Program Guyz podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you by Mark Hall, Matt Gann, Patrick Hirschberger, no Ryan Tyson today. We are recapping an Oklahoma Sooners win. Wow, feels good to say that. 52-42 over the Kansas Jayhawks in Norman on Saturday. I was in person for that game. Mark, Matt, Pat, all watched on TV. Opening thoughts. What do we think?
I want to ask you, what was the vibe like?
Yeah.
I was so worried about that atmosphere. And on TV,
worried.
It seemed all right, but
I was super worried about the vibe. And it was actually like in person when I first got there, I was nervous and you could tell everyone else was nervous, but like a supportive nervous. No, there was no like boos. Even when they introduced the players, like Dylan Gabriel got a big cheer, obviously, when he was announced, and Brent got a massive ovation. When anytime he was on the screen, he got a massive ovation. So like and I was talking to my dad about this. It makes sense because why would you buy a ticket and go support this team after all they've been through and go there and boo? Like it just wouldn't really make sense. You know what I mean? The people who are pissed off and complaining about the team are the ones who are like staying home, like, I'm not going to go watch this team. Those are those people. Like, so, but the vibe was great. Everybody was in a good mood. We'll get to the game in a second, but yeah, all in all, I thought the vibes were great.
God, it's good we started Dylan.
Dude.
Dude.
Let's jump right into it. The offense is a completely different. I've never seen a more night and day thing. And it's so funny because credit where it's due. That's why you hired Jeff Levy for what yesterday was for the offense. That's why you hired him. The game plan was fantastic. All of the play calling was great. Anytime they needed to play, they got it. Marvin Mims targeted 16 times. Drake Stoops had his career high in catches, which is 4, which is wild. Everybody scored a freaking touchdown. Eric Gray 2, Javonte Barnes 2, Dylan had 1 rushing, Braden Willis with 1, Theo Weiss with 1. It was all spread around. Matt, what'd you see?
Like I said last week on the pod, we weren't going to win this game without DG, and it still took us 50 plus points to win. And I feel like that's what's going to be like the rest of the year. We're just going to have to put up more points, and it's going to have to be 40 plus points a game. And you can clearly see that DG is capable of running the offense. I love the first drive of the game, just letting him sling it all over the yard. We didn't just try to get the running game started, which the running game looked fantastic yesterday, both with the Eric Gray, Javonte Barnes. I didn't even realize Eric Gray just had like a quiet 170 yesterday and a couple touchdowns. Just kind of blew my mind. The stat came up and I was like, wow, I can't believe he's having that great of a game. But you clearly see the discrepancies between when DG's playing and when he's not. Opens up the playbook. He looked a lot there yesterday. Of course, there's a couple overthrows. He hasn't played in a few weeks. I'll give him that. But the offense looked completely different. That's what you want to see. A lot of points on the board.
Pat.
We needed a game where we got off to a fast start, and that's exactly what we did yesterday. That was the biggest thing to me. We got momentum early, scored early, and kept that momentum throughout the game offensively. And to me, that was incredible to see. Barnes played a great job. Not sure what's going on with Marcus Major, but Barnes is doing a good job. Eric Gray had a phenomenal game. Offensive line did great job opening up those holes, protecting DG. Overall, just an incredible performance. Play calling, I loved all the play calling. Snaps to Willis again, snaps to Gray again. It was just unpredictable and awesome.
Mark?
Jeff Levy is really more comfortable opening it up when he's got Dylan under quarterback. I mean, that's obvious. It goes without saying. I was very happy to see Theo Weiss get involved. We had speculated, and we were not the only ones, that Theo was headed to the transfer portal, that he may have been the topic of some ire in a particular Brent Venables quote last week. But, I mean, 4 for 56 and a touchdown, that's not bad. We'll take that every day of the week. Dylan is still overthrowing the football. As good as it looks, we could have had, 3 or 4 more big plays if he just gets the ball in the right place. This offense is capable of even more than we've seen. And Javonte Barnes looks like the real deal. They're phasing Marcus out. I don't know if he's hurt, but if he's not, he's just losing his job right now.
Yeah,
That's just a bunch of thoughts, I guess.
Mhm.
No, I agree. So what I saw that my dogs, they're making me mad. First time Dylan Gabriel's thrown for 400 yards in his career. By the way, which was shocking to me.
Wow.
First time he surpassed. Look, I just wanted them to win, so I'm not gonna. Yeah, there was things that they didn't do great. I thought Dylan Gabriel's pick was literally, arguably the worst throw ever. I have no idea where he was throwing.
Right to him.
Yes, like literally right to him. He had some deep shots that he missed, that he overthrew. He underthrew Marvin Mims one time across the field. That's a touchdown if you lay it out in front of him, like at all.
Yeah.
It's
Couple tosses like that too,
Yeah.
where the guy's
The
going
first
across
toss of the
field and
game.
he's having to like lean back to try and catch it.
Yeah. So again, I mean, but Dylan played great. He's the reason they won the game. He gives the offense so much more life.
Competency.
So, yes, so much more life and competence. And the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. And we don't know what Davis Bevel is ever.
You mean the bevel? We
Bingo.
don't.
Yes. So this is what OU fans watching Dylan Gabriel, we have to be more appreciative of what he brings to the table. We've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. He's not Baker. He's not Kyler. He's not even Jalen Hurts. But what he is an above average college quarterback, and we have to give him that credit. So yes, he's not going to win a Heisman for you. He's not going to be like getting roses from national media every single week, but he is good. And he's talented enough to win you a football game like that when you need him to. So I just think I'm talking to myself specifically. I need to give him a little more grace sometimes because he's not what we've had in the past, but he's still better than the alternative.
Looking at the distribution of receptions, I think coaching was just on another level this game out of Jeff Lebby. I mean, Marvin Mims has time for 17 targets, whatever it is, gets 9 catches, and we still have a solid distribution, 5 for Braden Willis, 4 for Theo, Drake, Jaleel. That one huge one out of Gavin Freeman.
They tried to get Bunkley Shelton the ball.
Play. We got Bunkley Shelton involved. What are we doing?
God,
Awesome. I love it. He's not just a backup punt returner, folks.
Yeah, no kidding. He dropped it, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're doing what we can.
Yeah.
Offense looked much more versatile than we've seen ever, like first 3 weeks included. So pretty pleased with the design of what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys as well, BV in his presser afterwards said there's a lot of meat left on the bone. I think that's really going towards the 3 turnovers that DG had yesterday, right?
Yeah.
1 pick and 2 fumbles, and they were trying to run the pitch option and he just lost it. So the scoreboard I don't think tells the whole story because OU had complete control of the entire game, gave up some late garbage touchdowns as well. So it's a little bit closer. But hey, good teams win, great teams cover. So OU still did that yesterday, but easily could have put up 60 plus points and could have definitely run away with the game. But this is the first time we've seen DG turn the ball over all year. He hasn't thrown a pick. He hasn't fumbled the football. So it's a little hard to see that. It is his first game in a couple weeks. So again, I can't complain too much. We just hope to see no more turnovers moving forward. But you definitely see what DG brings to the table and much more better than what we've seen recently.
Last thing for me for the offense, 100 snaps, first time since 2014.
Crazy.
Wow. See, that's the Jeff Lebby thing. That's what we said coming in. He's going to run a ton of plays. A lot of guys are going to get their bites at the apple. And this was, I feel, the first game that we saw it really come to fruition.
Yeah.
Just up and down the field, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Two running backs got 20 carries.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
When's the last time OU had that?
No idea.
No idea.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't even think P. Ryan and Mixon would have had a game like that.
No.
Because
they didn't run enough plays.
They
didn't run enough plays. One thing that I'm impressed with overall, just the team overall. Anybody else have anything on the offense? I'm going to transition to defense kind of after this point. Yeah, Mark, go ahead.
Love them scheming up Jaleel. That's all.
I love that too.
Scheming up Jaleel.
And credit credit where it's due. The offensive line has been rough, and they played well. They had it together. They looked really good at times. There was a holding call on a touchdown that I didn't see. It didn't exist. Eric Gray scored the very next play, so it ended up mattering. But they looked great. I was really happy with them. And Wanye Morris, you could tell he was hurt, and that dude balled out. Like he deserves a lot of credit. You could tell watching him on the field move, he wasn't 100%, so he looked good. But this is the point that I wanted to make. Going into that halftime, where that Marvin Mims phantom wasn't a touchdown, don't know how. So then you get stopped on 4th down. You go into halftime, Kansas is getting the ball to start the second half. That's a scenario where this team could have been killed. And I want to give the defense credit before I tell them how bad they are, that they had to get a stop, like to open that second half, and they did. And that was a massive point in that game, because that could have broken this team. Like with their mental state, where they were, like, yeah, you jumped up early, but then you get screwed on a call. By the way, the refs were awful all day. They were really bad. Even in a win, you can say that they were really bad.
But all of college football,
dude, it was terrible. It was so bad. But that's just the point I wanted to make about the defense. When they needed to get a stop all day, it felt like they did. Now, the last drive of the game where you're like trying to end the game and you just let them run right through or pass literally anywhere they want, that was really disgusting. But I guess to Matt's point, you can equate that to maybe a garbage time touchdown. Maybe they weren't locked in, but regardless, you got to be. Mark, what'd you see from the defense? I'll start with you.
CJ Colton looked good,
Yeah.
but I continue to believe we're not going to see this defense play the way it's supposed to until Billy Bowman is back on the field.
Yeah.
I think that he's kind of the North Star for this group. They haven't looked right since he went out. And even though we've seen a lot of different variations trying to replicate his impact on the defense, nothing is really it. He helps fill every hole when he needs to. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes in the back end. All I did just now was spend 15 seconds talking about a guy that didn't play. But I think the absence is noticeable because we're just not, I don't know. We sent pressure. That was awesome. Mm-hmm. I loved that. Yeah. The scheming, 42 points, I'll give up, whatever. I liked some of the coaching moves that I saw on that side of the field a lot more than I've liked the last few weeks. So that's a positive.
Matt.
Yeah, Mason, you bring up a great point. They got stops when they needed to, especially at big pivotal moments in the game where we needed to stop. And then the offense did what they needed. I mean, we got over 700 plus yards of offense, 16 of 21 on 3rd down. And when your team's doing that, the defense also, that helps out the defense. This is the first time we had more time of possession in a game than the other team. And I think that helps out the defense quite a bit. They got 2 turnovers, which is great to see. But this defense is going to be like what we've seen in the past. It's going to be a bend, don't break mentality. They gave up 400 plus yards of offense. You could see that Kansas had schemed up some things that previous teams had looked at, which is running straight up the middle and then putting a guy straight down the seam. And obviously they had Mason Fairchild, who's a man of his own, but it's just going to happen. They're going to have to get stops when needed, create turnovers when they can, just create more offensive possessions. But unfortunately, with the teams coming up, we're probably going to give up 30 plus points easily every game. We're just going to have to outscore opponents at this point.
Yeah. Pat?
Yeah, good points. Turnovers, and we had made the stops when we had needed to make the stops. But this defense has given up over 40 points the last 4 games. And for me, that's just not acceptable. And what really irks me is just the mid-game celebrations, on every play. It kills me every time, guys. Celebrate when the game's over or when you get off the field. And only when you get off the field when we're winning. You let Kansas, and I'm sorry, I know they're ranked, but it's still Kansas in my eyes. You gave up 40 points against Kansas. You gave up unnecessary late points against Kansas too. Stop celebrating wins in the first quarter. Stop going up to the Kansas sidelines when you drop an interception and talking crap. I can't handle it. Stay composed, get your head in the game, stop celebrating until you're off the field. That's my biggest thing. And I know it's kind of a hot take. And I know players like to celebrate when they do good things, but 40 points in 4 games, nothing to celebrate there in my eyes. Sorry.
I feel like Patrick is very popular with our baby boomer following.
He 100%
Just
is.
that kind of like,
Yeah.
the standard's the standard. You do
Yes.
not
No,
laugh.
yeah,
You do not smile
I'm
on
sorry,
that
guys.
football
We went
field.
from it ain't good enough hype videos with Brent Venables to him making pump up post game videos, being happy after the game. And like, I get it. He's got to do those
Yeah,
kinds
he
of things. I'm the
shouldn't. He
biggest
shouldn't
Brent
be happy
Venables
after the
fan.
game.
I'm the biggest Brent Venables fan in the world, west of Mississippi for sure. And like, you can't go from
Dabo
best
East.
is the standard. It ain't good enough to let's get happy about giving up 42 points against Kansas. That I just can't do.
So
Yeah, you go.
I would agree. I'm going to push back a little bit on you because I would agree that it'd be a tougher look if we hadn't gone through the 3 weeks we just had. So I think celebrate when you do something good because they needed something to feel good about in my eyes. So yes, in the scenarios you're talking about, one sticks out to me. They allowed like a 90-yard drive and like Key Lawrence or somebody batted a ball down in the back of the end zone and they scored like 2 plays later. Like that's something, yeah, don't celebrate that. But like, throughout the game, I get it. They needed something to celebrate because they haven't had literally anything to celebrate for 3 weeks. So that's just the only part I'll push back on for you, Mark.
This team was 0-3 the last 3 weeks. We are going into a bye week. I promise you guys we're headed to the transfer portal if this week did not go well.
Yeah.
Brent Venables has a lot more on his mind than just the final score of the game when he is happy after the game. He is going to be on the road recruiting this next week. He can look at this, say, look, we got it back on track. Look what you could come be a part of. Hey, check it out. We gave up 42 points. We still need some guys. Yeah. So I think it's a whole lot bigger picture kind of thing for Brent. Yeah, the players, celebrating. They're 19. I don't know. I agreed. I wish there was some more discipline there, especially like Key Lawrence there. But what are you going to do? They're kids having fun playing football.
Yeah. The defense. So credit. I thought Deshaun White had a great game. I thought Deshaun White had a fantastic game. I thought David Agüero had a great game. Danny Stutzman is driving me literally insane. I can't do it anymore, man. And you're not going to play anyone else. So like, I don't know what I'm asking here, but the dude doesn't know how to play zone coverage. He can't tackle now for whatever reason. I don't know what it is.
To you?
Yes.
We commented on that yesterday. I don't know if it's just the anthracite being like slimming, but maybe. Ethan Downs looks bigger to me. I don't know what it is. He looked smaller yesterday. I don't like Danny Stutzman is just driving me nuts. And I don't know when it's going to click for him. And I don't know if it ever will, but he's a liability at times, especially in pass coverage. If I'm a game planner and I'm going up against that OU defense, I'm telling my tight ends, you're going to have 150 yards receiving because I'm throwing to you every time because this guy can't freaking cover you. It's bad. But again, David Agüero, Deshaun White, great games. Matt.
Yeah, I'm just going to push back on you a little bit. The reason he can't cover is because you can't cover guys for 10 plus seconds when your defensive line's not getting any pressure on the quarterback. And the backup quarterback for Kansas sat there, and he could have sat that back there all day because we were getting no pressure on him. We had to bring Deshaun White down or create some kind of exotic blitz or something to come in to bring pressure. And then even when we did that, still couldn't sack him in the backfield. He would still run for 10 plus yards. So yeah, I mean, some of that coverage is you're going to expect Danny Stutzman to cover a guy for 10 plus seconds. Probably not. I mean, he still needs to do a better job, no doubt about it. But we've got to create more pressure on the quarterback. Way too much time. They're going to pick us apart. Any quarterback can sit down there and wait for a guy to get open. They're going to have to create a lot more pressure moving forward.
The two plays that stick out to me are the last drive of the game for Kansas, where he was in pass coverage and it literally is completed like between his arms and he's not even looking for the ball. And then they score on that play and the ball is thrown right over him in zone coverage because he's too shallow. And David Agüebu's looking at him after they score, like, what are you doing? Those are the two plays that stick out to me. So for the whole two plays does not a game make. I can agree with you on that part, but those are the plays that stuck out and they cost you a touchdown. And in the grand scheme of things against Iowa State, that may be the difference between a win and a loss in 2 weeks. So
Two more real fast points that I want to. So obviously everyone knows DJ Graham is being moved to the offensive side of the ball. It seems to me, based on yesterday, that that's because of CJ Colden's emergence. They must like what they see because he was in the game more than just that interception. He had a couple tackles.
I didn't even when he made the pick, I was like, "Who the hell is that?" I didn't even know.
And he did last week too against Texas. Had one, so he's earning playing time. That's cool to see. Robert Spears Jennings was also on the
remember
field
that name.
Yeah,
remember the name, man.
We had to look up the number at the Borland house to figure that one out.
I can believe that.
Excited to see him get a little bit of playing time in BB's absence.
Overall, game was great. Happy we got a win. Shout out to my guys, Chris and Rick, fans of the program.
Yeah,
guys.
I was crossing Boyd Street and they recognized me, stopped me, said hello. They're fans of the show. I'm putting their picture up on the screen right now. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, didn't give my whole spiel at the beginning. I don't know why I didn't do that. But shout out to Chris and Rick. If you guys see us on campus, see us anywhere, give us a shout out, say hello. Always love seeing you guys. Anybody else, anything on this game before we move on to kind of, I want to talk other college football just because so much happened yesterday.
Yeah, maybe MVPs real quick.
Yes. Good call, Patrick. Give me yours first.
Barnes. I mean, if he really did beat up Marcus Major, Barnes is my MVP.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, I think it's obvious. It's got to be Dylan Gabriel. He's the only reason we're going to win football games moving forward.
Yeah. Mark?
Braden Willis. I'm not often a loud Braden Willis supporter, but 5 catches for 102 yards and a touchdown, some really big blocks as well.
His first game over 100 yards.
Tries as hard as anyone. Tries as hard as anyone on the field every single play. So
he does.
My MVP.
Also, Daniel Parker I'm done with him.
No,
Fire him into the sun. Fire him into the sun.
And wearing 22, he looks like a running back.
Yes.
And I'm always confused. Why is that back missing blocks?
He looks like a running back. He moves like an offensive lineman. He's not a tight end. I'm
Give
firing
me Jason Llewellyn. He's like 259 pounds.
Yeah, I'm over it. My MVP, Eric Gray. He looked amazing. He looked so good. His cutbacks, his vision, like I was sitting in kind of the corner of the end zone. So when they're going towards the north end of the stadium, their backs are to me, and to see his vision and the cutback lanes that he was seeing like in real time is amazing, dude. He's uber talented. And I didn't give Eric Gray enough credit to start the season. Obviously a big Marcus Major proponent, but Eric Gray deserves a ton of credit. He looked really, really good.
Crushing it.
Yeah, are we ready to admit it, boys? Mark and Mason, are we ready to admit that?
I want Mark.
You want us to admit? I'm confused by this, like admitting something. Like
that Marcus Major's not
the entire idea was make a fun prediction, and I made a fun prediction.
Yeah, you did.
And now I'm telling you, your prediction was wildly wrong. Is that okay?
Probably was. A lot of season left.
Just want to say, hey, Eric Gray. I told you from the beginning.
I just want to see Marcus Major get back on the field, and then I'd
rather have Javonte Barnes.
I think Javonte
clearly what we've seen. If we're going to give 20 carries to Javonte Barnes, and we saw Marcus Major like twice on the field, I think that just shows you everything.
Leave a comment down below. Leave a comment down below what you thought of the game, your MVP of the game, how you're feeling, just your overall mood after a win. Let us know down below. We've had a rough 3 weeks, people.
Why are we coming?
Yeah, we've
I love the jerseys, by the way, too.
Jerseys did look great. Even in person, they're fire. I liked them a lot. So the national college football scene. Look, folks, you really hate to see OSU and USC go down on the same day. You really hate to see it.
Yeah, sure, it's tough.
You know, like especially OSU.
The schools are family.
OSU dancing on our grave for a while, and deservedly so. You know. But arguably the biggest game of OSU season, and they come out and fall flat on their face in Fort Worth. Shout out to TCU. That's a good football team, man. TCU's a good football team. But OSU had every chance to win that game, and they refused to do it. And you hate to see it.
We call that the Spencer Sanders effect.
There was rumors that he wasn't going to play, and then he comes out there and he plays. And people were saying it was his shoulder. His arm looked fine to me. He looked okay, but Yeah. What'd you guys see out of the OSU TCU game if you got to watch?
I don't know. It just kind of seemed like OSU hadn't ever been in a big game before. You know,
I can support that.
got to keep the score up. You know,
OSU ain't going to win games if they allow a team to score 43. I know they scored points in overtime, but OSU ain't going to win a game if they allow teams to score 30. Their offense isn't good enough. They don't have I heard the broadcaster, I think it was Todd Blackledge. He said that OSU doesn't have that go-to receiver like they've had for years past. And you can definitely tell with this team. So yeah, I think that was OSU's downfall is you can't score enough points. So Matt.
I think Mark said it right. TCU is a real team. They went out and proved it. Fort Worth is now a tough place to play, at least this year. And Max Duggan looks to be that guy. He's probably been the most consistent.
What a gamer.
Yeah, he's probably been the most consistent Big 12 quarterback other than Spencer Sanders, and obviously outgunned him yesterday evening. So good for TCU as they continue their trek through the Big 12. Sucks for OSU. Spencer Sanders. I was high on him. I even picked OSU. So, I have to eat my words on that one.
Imagine making a wrong prediction. Wow, what a jerk.
Yeah, I'm going to hold that over your head forever. It's such a unique college sports thing, but someone like Max Duggan, who's not going to be an NFL prospect, who isn't that good, but has been a gamer for 4 years, and he's a senior now. So he's going to be a little mentally more strong, and he's in an offense that fits him, and he runs it well, and he just has a year to lead a pretty successful team. You don't see that in the NFL. I mean, it's a reason why Case Keenum's Vikings year is crazy, because that's kind of what we're seeing is this dude who's not, anyone OU's had in ever, looking really good for a pretty talented team. Kendre Miller also very good at running back.
Yes, he is. Pat, let's talk Tennessee real quick.
Oh boy.
Go ahead.
Oh man.
I'll let you just start us off. Give us your spiel.
I mean, here's an incredible game. Right?
Yeah, it was.
All the haters out there can shut up about Tennessee. 24 coming into the season, ranked 24. No way. Second best team in the SEC right now. Has a chance to go beat Georgia too. I mean, they look like the real deal. They hung 52 points against Alabama. And there's a lot of haters out there, and I'm going to shut them up right now. Oh, it's Alabama and the penalties, blah, 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 blah. No, if you're going to the Neyland Stadium, you know it's going to be loud. It's as loud as a 747 Boeing flying 100 feet over your head. You've got to go into that game with a game plan and understand that penalties cannot happen. Nick Saban did not prepare his team, and they had a ton of penalties. And that's because Tennessee fans are loud. That's because the culture of that program messes with your head when you enter that stadium, and you got to bring your game. And scoring 49 points wasn't good enough for Bama last night because Tennessee's a better team. And Hendon Hooker played amazing. That kick to win the game, prettiest kick I've ever seen in my life. That's all I got.
It was wild. It was crazy.
I've just never heard so much passion from you, Patrick.
Yeah.
This is weird. There's so much enthusiasm.
Podcast and Pat doesn't.
Oh, Mark, we're losing Mark a little bit. We're losing Mark a little bit. Oh no.
Oh no.
I think you're here now. I think
Am
you're
I
here
here?
now. Yeah.
All
You
right.
gotta love technology in 2022, man. It's lit.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, I love Pat threw the bucket hat on and goes, Nick Saban's a fraud.
Like all the other Alabama
He's a
fans, I think
fraud.
you get fired too, you know?
Oh, dude.
Well,
is
I'll tell you,
amazing.
Tennessee looked good, and so did Hooker. Alabama's defense was only giving up, I think, 13 points a game at that point, and Tennessee almost pretty much put a 50 burger on them. They're the real deal. Hooker's definitely going to be solidified as a Heisman candidate, absolutely, after that performance. Tennessee is a real deal, and like Pat said, you got another chance to beat the number one team, and there could be a scenario where we have 3 SEC teams be in the college football playoff, and Ole Miss is right there too. They could be 11-1 on their schedule, so there's potentially 4 teams that could get in the playoffs in a wild scenario. I know there's still a lot that can happen, but Tennessee's has proved a lot so far this year.
After that performance last night, someone needs to take that Hooker out and show him a good time.
Thank you,
Yeah, I hope he had a great time last night.
dude. Yeah. And we got to the bean. Mark's just on fire right now. You know, we got to
Yeah,
the bean.
Oh, we only got to him really like one time. David Agwebu flicked the shit out of that bean though. He was all over it.
He's all over it.
Ate
all
it
right.
up.
All right. The last thing, what, Pat?
No, that's
Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay. Congrats to Patrick and Becca and all the Tennessee fan base.
Becca was at
Massive
the
win.
game.
Becca,
Did you hear
program
it?
gal
Did Becca
at the
survive?
game.
Did
Was she
Becca
on the
Becca
field?
stormed the field. She stormed the
Nice.
field.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did
That's
she take
awesome.
the goalpost into the river?
she threw it in the
game
river.
too?
Yeah, love it. That's awesome, man. And Tennessee's a great environment. With my one time in Neyland was awesome. So to see those people not beating Alabama in whatever it is, 16, 17 year, whatever it was, that's why you love college football right there, for that thing. Because they're Tennessee. They don't get to storm the field. They're like a historic program. You don't get to storm the field for like anything. It's like OU. And Tennessee getting to do that, it made me happy to see. That was awesome. All right.
Shout out Josh Heupel.
Yeah.
Josh Heupel, year and a half.
Real quick. Let's talk USC Utah. Utah wins 43-42. USC drops their first game of the year. Caleb Williams, 381 yards, 5 touchdowns. Cameron Rising, 415 yards, 2 tutters.
One victory.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Feels
Caleb Williams crying after the game. That's not an exaggeration. He was legit crying. Tough to see.
Tissue.
Tough to see. Mario Williams had 4 catches for $145. Mark, we're losing you. We're losing you again, brother. It's all right. We're almost done. Matt, Pat, what'd you guys see?
I mean, to be honest, I watched most of the game. USC was in complete control, but then Utah, I was hate watching. And then Utah came in and ballsy call, went for 2, and they got it, and then 48 seconds left or something like that. They did a good enough job to, I know there's a lot of penalties in that 48 seconds too. Did a good enough job to hold them off, and great win.
Matt?
Lincoln does what he does best, give up 2 touchdown leads to an inferior opponent. Hey, credit to Utah. They went out there, great atmosphere. Cameron Rising played a hell of a game. The tight end, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, had like 200 plus yards.
Dalton Kincaid.
Kincaid. I mean, he is a mammoth out there, but it just brought me back to OU last couple of years, giving up late touchdown leads, and it's still continuing. So am I happy? I mean, I'm more happy for Utah at this point. Yeah. So credit for them for having a big win.
I love that Patrick was admitted he hate watch. Yeah, Pat.
I think someone sent a fun stat this morning about BV being 1-0 against ranked opponents and Lincoln Riley being 0-1.
Again, you hate to see it. You really do. Mark crapped out on us, but that's going to do it for this week's show. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on our YouTube channel. Mark's back and we're about to head out. Sorry, Mark, you're still frozen again. Oh, you're kind of in and out, but like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, Program Guys with a Z, Instagram, Program Guys with a Z, however you get your podcast, that's where you can find us. That is going to do it for this show. Oklahoma Sooners 4-3, 1-0 this week. That's all you got to worry about. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.